yeah, with further ado, as I explained, our first part was a little bit more about user-friendly, so to speak, and user-friendly information, how to install the solar systems, and what are the steps to make. The second part is going to be more technical, where we will be talking with and our presenters will be our suppliers, our partners who have actually built the technology and are supplying this to us, to SLO. And our first speaker is from Weidmueller. It's components and solutions for solar panel installations. And I give the floor to you, Julius. Here you go. Okay, we have the screen, I think, connecting the technical. Because Julius is presenting online, he's not here with us. I can keep talking until we set everything up.
Okay, now I'm allowed to take off the mute session, so I hope you can hear me. Okay.
Yes,
so I'm Julius, and nice to meet you, and thanks for giving me the chance to present our PV solutions for rooftop installation here. So thank you for the SLO team. Let me start my presentation. What is Weidmueller offering? It's basically everything between the solar panels and the inverters. So you see it. We have a wide variety on PV boxes, which I will describe to you in more detail. We have PV tools, we have fireman switches, which is also one part of my focus topic for today. We have all kind of connectors for bringing the panels connected to the combiner boxes or the inverter. We have sunroof covers, overvoltage protection as standalone, fuses, printing materials. So all this is the wide portfolio of Weidmueller when it comes to PV installations. And some of them I will describe to you in a more detailed manner today. Let me start with some technical background where these kind of solutions are needed and why. First of all, you see on the right-hand side a classical building. Yeah? So here you see there are in total 4 panel strings installed. Because of the different allocation of the panels and the different shadowing of the panels, it's also very important to separate this installation by the maximum power trackers. That's why you see the MPP 1 and 2 line, which in the PV box side can combine 2 strings easily, but we never should mix the maximum power tracker in order to have the maximum output of this kind of installations in order to run the string inverter on highest possible power. If you have such an installation, there is also a specific European regulation, the EN 51643, which is also valid in Latvia, which describes that between the PV generator, so all your solar panels, and the PV inverter, you have to install surge protection if the distance between these 2 items, so between the panel and the inverter, is longer than 10 meters. Yeah? And 10 meters are very easily reached. Yeah? And then when you overstretch these lengths of 10 meters, then it's independent from the fact if the inverter has overvoltage protection built in or not. You have to install an additional protection level in order to avoid that a possible lightning strike to the panel hits into the building. That's also the reason why Weidmueller is offering these kind of combiner box solutions to you. It's not only has the protection function, which I just mentioned, with, for instance, the overvoltage protection, or in some versions also with the fuses, but furthermore, our solutions are also able to combine several strings to one output, which helps each installer to save money on the cables. Yeah? Because as an example, you can combine 3 strings to one output, or we have also versions with 6 in, 1 out, where you then, for instance, save 5 times the cable on the longer distance between the combiner box and the inverter. Yeah? And at the current copper cost, it's very easy to calculate on which distance such a payoff happens already. Here you see a basic overview of our portfolio. All our solutions are based on PC boards. So you see always this black platina. This is This is our basic principle here. It really starts with a small and very small footprint of the unfused version. So for 1 and 2 MPPT on the left-hand side, then in the middle section, you see 2 and 4 MPPT versions in a medium-sized box. And on the right-hand side, or more in the middle section, you also see how these platina can be combined, 3 in total, in order to reach even up to 6 MPPT protected combiner boxes. And in the lower section, you see our fused versions for 1 and 2 MPPT for 3 in, 1 out, or 6 in, 1 out designs. On the very right, you see that all our solutions are available as a cable clans version. So you directly go with the wire inside the box and you do the wiring directly on the platina. Or you can order any kind of our boxes with the connectors. So you can just plug and play the line from the panels into the box. I will show you also how this can work. Then we always have the 2 possibilities when it comes to the surge protection. So we always have the variants with type 1 and 2 protection, or with just the, let's say, cheaper version type 2. This is good enough when there's no external lightning protection installed in the building. And all our versions are also additionally available with this optional switch. And this manual switch is then built into the top of the enclosure. Because the variety is quite big and there are also so many different inverters out in the market, we build up a database for you in order to have an easy selection option for these kind of solutions. So on our website, you will find a selector for your specific needs. You only have to type in the inverter manufacturer or select the inverter manufacturer, and also then select the type of inverter you would like to install. And you get directly recommended the best fitting PV combiner boxes made by Weidmueller. So you don't have to study any kind of technical documentations of the inverter and so on. We have done this for you, and we also synchronized all these recommendations with the inverter manufacturers you can find in this selector. I really hope that helps you to ease the selection process and to really focus on the installation of the PV at your customer site. Now, let me switch over to our fireman switch portfolio. The fireman switch is equally installed as a combiner box, and usually either you have a combined version, so combiner box with the protection elements and the fireman switch all in one. I will show you this solution in our live demo. Or like in this picture, you can also install a fireman switch standalone. The functionality is similar as for the combiner boxes. So also here you can combine, for instance, 2 strings into 1 output. Nevertheless, you have to make sure that you don't mix up the maximum power point trackers. So they need to be kept separately. Like in this example here, you see 2 strings per MPPT going into the box and 1 string per MPPT going out to the string inverter. What is the function of the fireman switch? It ensures a rapid shutdown of the DC line in case of a fire. So when there is a fire alarm in the building, within 2 seconds it's shutting off and the DC line is disconnected, so that the fireman department can focus on rescuing people or animals, and they don't have to worry where the 1000-volt line is going through the building. I would like to show you now our live demo. Here you see how a standalone product could look like, but in the live demo, I'm showing you a combined version. So here you have the platina, which you have seen in the combiner box version, in this case for 2 MPPT. This you see by the number of overvoltage protection. So we have 2 plus, 2 minus strings and 1 earthing protected with our overvoltage protection solution. In this case, the combiner box is having all the connectors already installed. So you can directly plug in the connector which you are coming from the panels, and you are very quickly done with the installation. But the major focus for the demo now is the fireman switch, which is this device up here. So this gray yellow version is the rapid shutdown function. It's already powered up, and that's the reason for this gray line here. So the AC power is given to the device, And the AC power, as long as it is on, ensures that the application is running. The DC power is going to the inverter, and we are collecting the sun power from the roof. And as soon as the AC power is cut off, the switch is turning off. You have also seen it here in the switcher, yeah? And within 2 seconds, the rapid shutdown happens. If then after the fire is distinguished or the fail alarm is set off by the fireman department, AC power is coming back, and within 5 seconds, this turns on again. That's also a very important feature, because we are not just ensuring a rapid shutdown, as you have seen, but also nobody has to go up to the roof and have to manually switch on the fireman switch again. Yeah, so this is especially of concern when it comes to public buildings like schools or maybe swimming halls, town halls, and so on. Often switching on these kind of devices after a fire alarm is forgotten, and then for days or weeks, no PV power is generated, and they just find out later on when they wonder why there's no power coming from the roof. Going back to the presentation mode, here I'm just highlighting the different variants we are having and also the major advantages. So let me sum up. You can bundle 2 strings in one output, which saves 50% of the cabling. Our fireman switch solution is available for 1 and 2 MPPT in 2 different versions for 34 amp switching power as well as for 50 amp switching power. And we have been introducing first standalone products and solutions as well as combined versions with the proper protection. The part numbers are shown here. Now coming to another important topic of a PV installation, which is the PV connector side. PV connectors are needed in old application, no matter if you are talking about a rooftop installation or maybe a free field utility PV plant. Yeah? Whenever you have the challenge to put several strings in a row, you have a lot of connection points on the plus as well as on the minus side. And for these kind of solutions, connectors are used. Most of you might know the crimping connectors, yeah? From, for instance, companies like Stolpli, the MC4 or the Evo Stick as an example. Unfortunately, not all the crimp installations are done properly, and this is also one of the major reasons for defects after a certain running time. Yeah? If the overlapping metal parts are not in a good shape together, then they can easily overheat, and in the worst case, even a fire can start out of this. So that's one thing which needs to be of concern for any kind of installation. And Weidmueller has developed a crimp-free connection tool, which is called PV Stick, and I will also show you how this one works. So just a second, I will go to the handling table again. What you see here now is our PV strip box in order to have a fast and easy stripping off from the PV cable like this. And then the PV stick is just connected via a small click. So there's a snap-in function like a mouse trap. And you only have to turn this connection tight. And then you can directly plug it into the box, which has already the box connectors installed. Yeah? So very quick, very easy, very safe, without any failures to be expected. And especially if you are doing these kind of installations on a roof, when it's rainy or snowy and so on, you can really easily feel the difference of a crimp connector versus these easy push-in connectivity. So let me summarize what I explained to you today. So the focus was on our PV boxes, and the combiner boxes are used in order to protect the installation when the distance between the panel, as you can see here on the left-hand side, and the inverter on the right-hand side is longer than 10 meters. The major function is to ensure a proper surge protection. In addition, our solutions are offering also that you can combine up to 6 inputs to 1 output, which saves cabling cost. You have shortly seen in our product demo our fireman switch, which is on the upper right corner, again highlighted. Yeah, this fireman switch has the function of a rapid shutdown, which ensures a safe operation mode for PV installations without putting any people who are living in this house on risk when in the case of a fire event. I also demonstrated shortly the PV connector, in this case our PV stick, and you also have seen our PV strippers for the easy stripping of the PV cables. And if you would like to see these kind of products in real life and would like to get your fingers touching these kind of devices, then please stop by when we are at SLO on the 1st of June with our mobile customer forum between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. local time. We will be in Riga at the SCIA SLO site, and we would be happy to show you our solutions in real life and colorful option. And we means it's myself and Marex, where you see also his contact details right now, who will be next to me in the MOKU. And yeah, just stop by on the 1st of June and we can discuss also further questions of yours. Thank you for your attention.
Hi, Julius. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's working.
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. I saw, I was just curious about your technical setup behind the scene, but anyway, that's another question for our spectators. And yes. I love the presentation that you showed it in real life, how it's done, how easy it is. And when we had the first part of the presentation, we also talked it's complex. You know, you need specialists like SLO companies coming in and helping, you know, the end users, either it's company or private person who wants to install this technology. You still cannot do it yourself, so to speak. And talking about these partnerships, what is the history of Weidmueller? How many years have the company been in the market?
Weidmueller is registered since 1946 as a German company, and we are in the market of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, represented since 15 years now. And Riga was our first office in the Baltic states. Yeah? And the partnership with SLO is running also already since 7 years now. So a strong partners joining us together.
And my question was leading actually into something. You cannot see it, but this can be seen for our online viewers. Can you see it, Julius? Yeah?
Yes, I can see
it. Okay, excellent. So you can see it. Beautiful. So this is a Pro Partner Certificate that's given by your company to SLO. And just want to ask you, you know, because you're being a German company and we know in the Baltics about the German quality, and just want to ask you, what are the requirements for somebody as your partner to receive the certificate, and what does it mean?
Yeah, we have very high standards. So these pro distributorship, we only grant to our premium distributors like SLO. Just to underline, yeah, in whole Europe, we have only 50 pro distributors appointed, yeah, and one of them is SLO. So you can be really be thankful to be considered in this high-class certification league. A pro distributor means that you and your technical team especially are trained on our more complex technical products and solutions. So you can give best possible support to the customer when it comes to selecting the right product of the Weidmueller portfolio for his specific needs, not only for PV, but overall the big portfolio of Weidmueller.
Excellent, Julius. Yeah, and this is fully in line with what SLO has been trying to do in the market, educate the people and tell them about the best available technology, best available suppliers, best available solutions. And that was one of the things that, because I'm outside of the industry, I don't know much. And I said, what can I ask Julius? Because I have no idea what he's talking about, you know, the technical aspects. And the guys showed me the certificate and said, hey, this is what we received. Let's talk about it, about that. Yes. And I think this
is a good idea.
Yes.
And maybe just to catch up also one aspect you highlighted. Yeah. So important is that these kind of installations have to be able to be quick and safe. Yeah. So these are the major concerns here. And that's also driving our innovation. Yeah. So all the solutions are quick to be installed, and you have absolutely no doubts when you are installing it. No matter if you are a private person or a smaller electrician company who only once in a while install PV installations, or if you are even a bigger customer of SLO having several PV installations every week, it doesn't matter. You can always rely on the high quality and easy installation principle of our solutions. And additionally, you can focus on the job to be done. Yeah, so that's, I think, the biggest advantage here, because you are much quicker in the installation thanks to our profound portfolio.
Excellent. We have one question from the audience, and I'll read it to you. If the inverter has built-in Type 2 DC surge protection, is it really necessary to install additional protection, example, PV DC combiner string boxes?
No, it's not mandatory in all of the occasions. Yeah? So just let me use this picture in order to highlight. Yeah? So if the inverter is close enough to the panel, so less than 10 meters, and has a Type 2 overvoltage protection built in, you are safe to go with only the built-in overvoltage protection of inverter, and you don't need any kind of combiner boxes in between. This is only valid if there's no external lightning protection on the building, because in the case of an external lightning protection, a Type 2 OVP would be not sufficient. Then you need a Type 1 and 2, and again, a combiner box is needed in this scenario. Or if the distance of 10-meter length between the last PV panel and inverter is longer than 10 meters, then independent from the inverter protection, you need to install an additional combiner box.
Thank you, Julius. The only thing I can do right now is just nod my head and say yes. Beautiful explanation. I hope the person who asked the question got the answer. Nevertheless, if you still have the further questions, feel free to contact SLO, and I'm sure we'll be in contact, and we'll get the best answer and best solution. As Julius said, your company is about quick and safe and effective solutions.
Absolutely. And the other option is to meet face-to-face on the 1st of June, yeah, and then we can have a deep dive on your questions and concerns.
And where will you be on 1st of June?
It's in Riga, yeah, so just let me highlight the location again. It's in Riga, it's on the Maliju Ilia 1 drive, yeah, so where SLO is located. Sorry for my wrong Latvian
so at the SLO offices, it's going to be at the SLO offices. You will be here, so people who know they can come here and meet you here 1st of June.
Absolutely. Me and my colleague Marek, yeah, so you don't have to be afraid. We also have Latvian language available if English is not your preferred language of choice. Yeah?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Julius. Thank you for this valuable information, and good that you are doing a tour, and you'll be here, and our viewers can meet you in person.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the occasion.